What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Almost Anglers Fishing. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Nick.
And we've been getting a lot of requests to talk about some of the equipment that we use here on set, especially for guys that are just getting started out on YouTube.
So let's talk about it.
All right, one of the most important things that you have to do, of course, when making videos is make sure you have good camera equipment. And something that was important to Nick and I was to make sure that we had good cameras and we had good picture. A lot of folks do that with their cell phone, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. But we wanted to take it up to the next step. And so we went on to GoPro and we got the new Hero 10 Black straight from GoPro. And this was a nice bundle because for about $400, we got the camera, a battery, several of these hot foot and cold foot mounts, and a tripod that came with it, all in a nice case, of course, with a charger and that sort of thing. But we've added to that lineup as well. One of the most important things that we got was the Jaws mount. And what that mount does, it's a nice strong clamp that lets you put it anywhere, especially when you're out doing outdoors, trying to do some fishing shots on the boat. This clamps well to the windshield, to the side of the boat. It does a great job, so we highly recommend that. I have also went out and got a couple of mods for the GoPro. I got the water case. This case comes with a couple of different adapters on it. One is purely watertight, and this is how I've gotten some of the underwater shots like we did at the trout farm. And then, of course, it does have an open one as well, so you can still operate the back of that camera at the same time. But if it gets wet, it's not hitting the front of the camera. So it creates some cool effects when you get some water droplets on there. Another modification that I got that we haven't used a ton of yet is our media modification. And why this is so cool is it does have a lot of inputs in front. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later when we get into our mic section of the program. Important accessory that we had is the chesty. We got these for about 45 bucks. We bought these directly from GoPro. One other thing that we did get when we bought GoPro, on that bundle, we also get several discounts on GoPro accessories if you buy them from GoPro.com. And that does save you some money even over what you'd get off of Amazon or Walmart or one of those places. But this, I highly recommend because whenever you are fishing and you want those action shots, having that chesty really makes a big difference. A couple other things we'd highly recommend when it comes to the GoPros, extra batteries. You can chew through these batteries really quick, especially if you're in harsher conditions with high heat, plenty of cold. The battery life can sometimes be a little disappointing on these. So Nick and I each have 3 and 4 batteries apiece. And with those 3 and 4 batteries, one of the really important things that Nick got was a dual battery charger. That way we can charge 2 batteries at once. That's handy to have out on the go whenever you're in the car traveling to different destinations. One other aftermarket, not GoPro specific accessory, or GoPro branded accessory I should say, was I did get this Me Premium floating camera stick. And this is really cool. It makes me feel a little bit better about having my camera out on the water. I also have a little container in here that I can put some stuff in, put any kind of documents, some money, whatever it is that I need. So this is really handy to have. Again, I got this off of Amazon. That's the Me Premium floating handle stick, and it does a great job. The GoPros have done a fantastic job for us, but Nick upped the game even further, which he's going to tell you about next.
This is the newest addition to our YouTube setup. This is a Sony ZV-E10 on a Benro fluid dampening tripod. What I wanted to get was something we could do pan smooth shots, and the Benro was the cheapest option I could come up with. It's about 220 bucks for this. There's a Manfrotto that just the head alone, which is a popular version, the Manfrotto 502, which is about $500. So really you can't go wrong with this Benro setup. I think it's a good addition to what we're doing. This is the Rode VideoMic Go 2, and we're going to put it on the GoPro now so you can hear the difference with Kevin's media mod to see how much difference there is with this mic. This is by far the most important thing that we've gotten. The camera does a great picture, but overall the audio I think is the most important thing that you'll want in your setup. Kevin's actually recording on the Hero 10 right now, and what you saw previously was the footage from the ZV-E10. And you can compare the two and see the differences. The Hero 10 is a great option when you're first starting out. It does great pictures, but we wanted to step it up a little bit and go with the ZV-E10. So, now we'll switch over the Rode mic and let you hear how it sounds. Now that you've heard the Hero 10 without the mic on it, we've mounted the Rode Video Mic Go 2 on top of the on top of the GoPro, and now you can hear the difference in the audio. Okay, the next upgrade we made is the Godox M1. It's about $129, so it's not the cheapest light. It's an RGB light. It also has some special effects, but we realized that we're going to need some artificial light. I mean, in some cases, the lighting's just not good. And so what we did is we bought this M1 Godox. We've got it on a small little tripod right now, but it'll move in different angles. It's really got its own kickstand if you were to take it off the tripod. But you can change the warmth. You can change the color. It's just a handy little light, and I think that everybody's going to need something like this going forward in their YouTube channel. Okay, we got our video, we got our audio, and we've got our lighting. There's one other thing that we got to upgrade for better stabilization in our shots. Let's take a look over here at it. Okay, with the Sony ZV-E10, one of the things that we had to be concerned about was some sort of stabilization, because in-body stabilization it does have what they call active stabilization, which it takes the image and crops it 40% in. So we were a little concerned with that. So I went and bought a Weeble S by Zune. And what it is it's a gimbal that you mount your camera here, and it'll give you steady footage. I just kind of wanted to nerd out with it for one thing, but seeing after using it, seeing how stabilized the footage is, I don't think that you could go wrong with getting one. I think that it is a huge addition to what we have in our YouTube lineup, and I feel like it's a really good buy for somebody starting out, especially with the ZV-E10.
So now you've got all this equipment and lights and cameras and mics and everything else. And when you spend that much money on all that stuff, you want to find a good way to protect it. And what comes with the GoPro when we purchased it is this little zipper case, which I still use quite a bit, and it actually does a pretty good job. It holds a couple of my mods, a couple batteries, the camera itself, and the charger, and it's a lot of times where I put my SD cards. But in order to upgrade to something a little better when we're on the boat, in the rain, there's water going on, we wanted something a little harder core. So Nick went out to his local Harbor Freight hardware store and got these Apache cases. And these come in different sizes. We've got some 2800s and we've got some 3500s. These cases have been great for us. They've got some really cool features. Of course, they are watertight, and they do have an air encapsulation inside the case to help it float and to keep it tight, and to get really good here on their weather stripping. That'll help out quite a bit for folks too when they're out there in the weather. Now when you get these, they are just a solid case, but Nick went through and actually cut out a lot of these shapes. This is where he puts his gimbal and his batteries, and of course over here is where he's putting a lot of his GoPro stuff, and his Sony cases and everything are cut down here. So you can customize these cases to however you want to use them. And folks, you don't have to go out and spend a couple of $100s on these cases. Nick went to Harbor Freight and spent starting at $28 for these cases. So you ought to go out and hit up your local hardware store, see if you can get us some of these. These are saving our lives.
Another addition that I think you need in your YouTube setup would be an SD card holder. This case is made by ProMaster. It's called Rugged. It's water sealed, and it has all these little spots for your SD cards. After spending all this money, the last thing you want to do is lose your SD cards or damage them. It's cheap and an inexpensive way to make sure that they're protected so you don't lose your stuff.
All right, we've got all our equipment. We've got our equipment protected. But of course, one of the most fun parts of being on YouTube is actually editing the videos. And an important part of that is making sure you have the right hardware and the right software. So let's go check it out and see what we're working with. So it gets to be very intimidating when you're looking at hardware and what you want to use for your video editing. Nick will tell you, I spent several weeks stressing about what I was going to use as a desktop or a laptop. But the one thing that always rang true was making sure that I had something that had plenty of RAM and a dedicated graphics processing unit, or a GPU. Ultimately, what I went with was the HP Omen. This is actually a gaming laptop, but because it's a gaming laptop, I knew it would have a great graphics card. This has got the NVIDIA GeForce RTX, the latest generation of it, with a 16 gig dedicated GPU, 32 gigs of RAM on the computer. It's not the most expensive computer a guy can buy. This one set me back about $1,700 or so. And there's cheaper ways you can go to, or less expensive, I might say. But some of the software running on it, that's where it really gets fun. We're using DaVinci's Resolve. There's a lot of different options out there. We went with DaVinci's one because you can download DaVinci for free. There is a paid version, of course, that does cost a little more, DaVinci Studio, but DaVinci has been great for us. We're running the 18, DaVinci Resolve 18, the beta, and I needed to have a good, powerful computer to make sure you run that. That's one thing I'll tell everybody. If you're running on less hardware, using DaVinci Resolve may not be the best option for you. There's plenty of other options to use, but we love this because this has gotten really easy to use. There's a ton of learning curve that we haven't done yet, but it's really been exciting to kind of learn some of the new transitions, new audio effects. You guys have probably seen it in our videos. As we get better, it's because we're learning more in DaVinci Resolve. There's one other side I want to show you about too, and this is how we get our music. This is Epidemic Sound. And Epidemic Sound has been perfect for us. Yes, we did pay for a subscription to this so that we could use this on our YouTube channel and use it a little bit on Instagram and maybe one day even put it into a podcast. But with one subscription, you can do all that on your channel here with Epidemic Sound. There's a couple different ones out there. Artlist is one, and I know it's very popular, and they have a growing, expanding library. But I will say Epidemic Sound for us has always let us find that perfect sound. You can search by the type of music, by the number of beats per minute, and find that perfect sound for it. So that for us has been one of the most fun things, is getting this software down so that we can make the best videos we can. And that's where Nick and I have the most fun. All right, guys, so there you have it. There's our beginner setup on how we got started on YouTube. And by no means is this the only way that you can go, and it certainly isn't the least expensive way that you can go. We've put a little bit of funds out to make sure that we had some of the equipment that we thought we'd need. But we have less expensive stuff too. We've got a light out in Nick's truck right now that cost us $7 from Best Buy.
I mean, the truth is we kind of just nerded out on this stuff and got what we wanted. To start off with. And I don't regret it, but I also think you can do it without what we have.
And we hope that this video just gave you a little bit of insight on some of the equipment that might be able to help you, stuff that certainly helped us. Most important thing, though, of course, is just to keep having fun.
Yep. That's the biggest key, is just have fun with it.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Almost Anglers Fishing.
Thanks a lot.
Where'd you go?
Oh, I'm right here.